So I have the glimpses of the one awareness, yet I keep falling back into the illusion. Is permanency possible? Here's what I learned. We have wrong expectations about awakening. Yes, sometimes it is sudden and it is permanent, and sometimes it is like blowing our mind and all of it, and we are illuminated forever. Yes, it happens. We know that history told us about those kind of enlightened beings, but this is not the only case. Sometimes self-realization happens, and then an entire new journey begins. When you start integrating your new understanding of the self with your experience, your relationship, and the state of the body and all of it. This is when the residues of the old self start to show up, to be released. So some of us think, I lost it. I was like, I felt this enlightenment state, awakening. I was in bliss, I was in ecstasy, and I lost it. You didn't lose it. You cannot lose yourself. So stay in that knowing. You cannot lose yourself. You can never not be your true self, even when it is temporarily obscured. Who's aware of the falling back into illusion? Who's aware of this veiling? There is a Sufi saying, he veiled himself with himself. The veil is you. His veil is his oneness. You awaken by knowing that the veil, this falling back, by inquiring on who is aware of that? Who is aware of this veiling? Who is aware of the forgetting? Even when you forgot yourself, you were aware of that forgetting. The you that is aware was still there. Who knew the experience of forgetting? The knowing. The ever-present knowing. It's always there. All residues will resurface. So welcome them. Who is the one aware of them? An old habit reappeared, accepted. An old feeling, old trauma. Welcome it, accept it, be that open awareness. This is who you are. Reinvestigate in this and become this open awareness, this open embrace, where all feelings are welcome. You are never, never, never above any feeling. We become, eventually, we become simply not deeply affected by feelings and experiences when we cease to resist it, when we cease to reject those state and seeking a state. Awakening is not a state. Awakening is who you are. When you rest in yourself, when you stop rejecting and seeking enlightenment or going back to that ecstatic experience you had. Also know this, that when we first start to know ourselves, meaning if you had this like a glimpse or a state or the experience, not a state, an experience of abiding in the self, there is a tremendous relief. You've been contracting all your life and defending the seeming separate self, and suddenly you are relaxing. There is elation here, there is ecstasy, there is bliss, there is crazy laughter, in this moment. When you know that this is who I truly am, this is how it truly is, this is an overwhelm of joy. This is because of the release of your grip on yourself and the world, the contraction. Suddenly, you're not contracting and focused. You're unfocused. You're sinking back. You're falling back. But this elation, this ecstasy, this bliss, it won't last forever. This high experience will subside and it will be replaced by grounded peace and grounded happiness. Awakening is not a state. So don't seek it as a state. And don't think that it is only the peak experience of ecstasy and bliss this is only awakening. No. There is also this grounding peace and grounding happiness that comes because you don't suffer anymore. But you're very grounded in the world. You're very grounded in yourself. So don't seek it as a state. It is the end of states. It is you residing in you, relaxing in you. You know, the word Advaita, it means non-dual, not two. So it's describing what it is not, because it cannot describe it as a thing, an objective experience. Awakening is not an objective experience. It is the non-objective, subjective experience. Reality is the not duality, non-duality. It wasn't described as a state because it is not it's not the relationship between subject and object. It is the seizing of that relationship, the union of that relationship, meaning that you are awareness and everything also is infinite awareness. It is the negation of the subject and the cessation of a state. It's not a positive state. It is who you are. It's not a state. It is a very grounded happiness and love and joy and peace. Pleasure and pain remains. Remember we said Maya remains. Ignorance disappears. Meaning that if a loved one passes away, you will grieve. But you're not destroyed. You're not suffering. Because pain is accepted, is honored, not resisted. And pleasure is not something, it is enjoyed, but it's not sought. You are not seeking pleasure, and you're not suffering when there is no pleasure. It is shared and enjoyed, but not identified with. When I battled with this, and I said, how can I stay here? How can I stay here? When I asked myself again and again this question, the gentle answer came, and it was, where can you go? Where can you go? Can you truly leave yourself? So the question should turn from, how can I stay here, to where can I go? I'm always here. I'm always in me, as me, the eternal self, the eternal knowing. Even when I forget myself, I am myself. I can never not be myself, the self that knows and that is aware.